bit bewildering here is Dynamics draft. It was really going in many different directions. A lot of turbulence, perhaps. They were flying Jin Air or something.
Yeah. On their way up to the LCK, they perhaps took the wrong airline. But yeah, I don't really know what to expect. It definitely, it kind of tastes like a challenger team draft. You know what I mean? This is not a standard straight up kind of thing. They're already pulling out the weird and wonkiness in the LCK,
Yeah.
which up against a good team, it generally does not work in League of Legends in the LCK.
Well, Karma, Ashe, Azir, Jarvan, and Set is going to be the team composition for KT. It's very generic. And Karma is going to be on the support role in this, so she's not going to be going mid or top. Set will be there up against the Jace. As soon as he gets some of his defensive items, I mean, it's just going to invalidate the Trundle and the Jace as well. So even though there's a lot of scaling on the side of Dynamics, the way that that scaling matches up to KT's is not really that well-rounded, and Azir is a nightmare for this team composition, plus Karma's shield. So it's hard to imagine Dynamic winning this unless they get really far ahead, buy 2 items, and somehow suffocate their opponents through Soul Point. Because there just shouldn't be a way for Set, Azir, and Karma to really drop a team fight in the later stages. And Jarvan, I mean, he doesn't have an obligation to go in. He just has to play defensive for Ashe, Azir. So I feel like KT should be pretty favored to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, just on paper and just looking at the teams in general, even before the draft, I think that KT should have been favored coming into this one. And as you mentioned, they're going to have to get ahead. You can see already KT trying to be a little bit in their face, proactive here. They're trying to, you know, set up the jungles and get Bono started on the enemy blue. Looking to deny any vision at the same time, but Beyond's very calmly, and Dynamics as a team are just, you know, letting them go through this. The Trundle's already over at the enemy blue, and they're just going to go ahead and set up vertical jungling here.
Yeah, and they will start the blue buff. Cougar and Duckdom are right around. Maybe Senna's going to try to steal the blue buff, and if she would succeed, it would be pretty poggers.
Oh, he smites it, okay. And he's going in for the engage here, not so sure about that. I mean, it's okay, I guess he does a little bit of poke damage, but yeah, not a big deal there.
Well, at this point, Duckdom and Cougar now, they're going to get zoned off the wave, and even a little bit more poke, so Cougar already at about 66% HP, or maybe 70.
Yeah, maybe more like 68.9.
Oh.
9 repeating, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You are the mathematician.
Yeah, yes, I am.
You know.
Ooh, that almost looked like it was going to miss, but the volley does miss, and Aiming and Tucson knowing exactly what to do with this kind of bot lane, already exerting their dominance.
Missed a CS is Ashe, so maybe needs to wrap it up, consider retirement perhaps. I'm not
Aww.
No, Aiming doing really good with the volleys. That is a very good hawk shot. He's going to go and spot out the entire blue side jungle. They'll know exactly what
the
Trundles.
cannon! I love how Jonas Strong zoomed in just a little bit there. He's like... By the way, the cannon went missing. And, yeah.
I mean, the interesting thing here is they could have gone for a cheater recall and just purchased a call, given that they were already winning inside of the trades. Yasuo no teleport, Senna no teleport, and it would pull the lane to their side. They would be able to play very defensive and continue to zone out the Senna and the Yasuo with just good lane manipulation, but they're choosing to constantly push underneath the turret, and this can eventually get dicey once Trundle makes his way over to the right-hand side. Even if the pressure that's being exerted early feels really good, it has to equate to something for it to be meaningful.
Yeah. Corki Azir, by the way, we didn't talk too much about this, and generally we don't need to talk too much about it, so let's listen to you, Cal. At one point, I found the meaning of being a professional player outside of winning or losing. I wanted to become the pillar of a team, and in that sense, KT was the best fit. Which is kind of interesting because they already had a veteran mid laner in Kuro.
Yep.
And they brought back UCal and said, no, actually you are going to be the pillar mid laner, as he likes to call it.
Speaking of pillars, he's against one on Trundle.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah, it is. And Rich is managing his mana very inefficiently. Sohan probably feeling very happy right now up in top lane, about 60% HP on set. With the Doron shield, also has the fleet footwork. And also, it should be noted that Rich has phase rush on Jace. So, lots of more poke, but so this is that part of the lane where I was talking about where, okay, you kept shoving in the wave over and over. Yes, Yasuo missed some CS, but he was going to miss it anyway. A lot of this came very early on in the laning phase, and now Ashe is going to recall into Vampiric Scepter, but because Yasuo has E, he has points in Q, and Senna, they're going to now crash this wave instantly, and now Yasuo's dodging your lane phase.
Trying to get a bit of damage done here, but Bono's there to kind of goal keep at the turret. Yeah, let's see what
so this is
they miss here.
This is the inevitable sequence that occurs when you don't cheater on 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And you play it out until 5, 6, or 7. Eventually, the person who you should be having a winning lane phase over gets a relatively fine recall off, and Yasuo is probably happy with this unfolding, even though it means that you convert into priority, you get the first dragon. That has to be meaningful in some way. And you can argue that it is, given that Dynamic probably want to rely on Soul Point, but Yasuo, at this point, probably feeling pretty happy. He has another wave coming into him. He has better sustain options now. He has more items, which now sets him up better for when his jungler will inevitably make his way to bot lane.
It's definitely a good feel for him. We'll see what they can try to set up there, as the only kind of setup at all we've been looking at was in the mid lane, where the Trundle put a turret or a pillar down, and that was about it. And it's all just about farming under turret here for Yasuo. Duckdom and Guger. Once again, if you guys weren't here earlier, Duckdom is of course FaZe from the promotion tournament. Same player, new name.
It's awfully similar. There's a Korean player. I've told the story about him on stream a couple of times. His name is like Don.
Are you sure it's not him?
I'll tell the story after the dive.
You got a little dive coming in already. The response though is coming in. Guger will flash away, and they decide, well, the follow-up is not worth it, as looks like maybe they were spotted by this control ward here. There's 2 control wards on the map that are spotting the enemy teams respectively. And neither of them has been cleared out just yet. Hopefully they clear out that one at the blue. There was one there right above the pixel brush in the river that is of Team Dynamics that spotted the rotation coming in early. So that's why Team Dynamics were able to get a couple of members down towards the bot side in due fashion. And in fact, that control ward is going to stay alive.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It is pretty, you know, and I mean, all things considered, Yasuo and Senna, they're feeling really good after dodging that. Meanwhile, up in top lane, Set with the Ninja Tabby. And probably could just go Bramble Vest next. Wouldn't be that bad of itemization. Yes, it's pure armor, so he's going to be fine with it beyond his level 6. Oh!
Okay.
Ends up stabbing Shelly, which is very rude.
Yeah, it's not very nice.
Yeah, woke her up from her slumber. Looking like Obelisk the Tormentor as she struts out into the river. You don't know what that is,
what?
do you? I really can't.
I feel like you're just bringing all the obscure references for when we cast. So
it's one of the Egyptian gods in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, okay.
The big blue guy. Woo! Superplex!
This is a nice little move. It's going to get a flash out of Rich. Sohan keeps his. And Bono was nearby, but it was really just the threat of him being there. He didn't actually have to be there.
I mean, Bono probably didn't expect Rich to space the way that he did for just the face breaker to be able to convert into the superplex, and he's able to do that because he has the tier 2 boots and Jace doesn't have any boots. So the movement speed just off a face breaker allows you to get behind them and set them up for the flip. Oh yeah, the story about Duckdon.
Okay, yeah.
He plays 12,000 games a season, never falls below D250 LP, only hit Master promos 3 times. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yes.
Impressive.
I don't know what his new idea is. He changed it about a season ago, but he was something.
Maybe he's a Duckdom fan.
No, Duckdon.
Yeah, but Duckdon is the fan of Duckdom.
There we go.
Who apparently was, I mean, we had it on our sheets here that he was like a big solo queue player that people looked up to for quite a while, even before he did go pro. Good old Duckdom. Not Duckdon, that's the
That's the legend.
Yeah.
He's truly D1.
Yeah. Man, it's great to be back here at the LCK. There's a lot of action happening, a lot of stuff dying in the form of minions and jungle camps, I guess. Minions and monsters, if you will. Aiming was left alone here, as I feel like Karma's just going to be so common nowadays with, well, there was some buffs towards 80 champions as well. They called them huge here at the LCK. I don't think they're that gigantic, but they're there. And also, you were talking about Ardent Sensor yesterday, and how that item seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Definitely is. As ooh,
that was
a
mistake.
It seems like someone is building Black Cleaver. And yeah, Ardent Sensor is a really good item. It's a very, very imbalanced item, but it looks like she's going to be going Athenes as her first one, and then hopefully into Ardent.
Generally don't get it first, but I think I was watching you stream one time, and someone had Locket and Ardent. And does that actually give all 5 members?
Amplify, yeah.
Yeah, it does?
Yeah.
It's pretty insane.
Pretty good.
It's a good item, I think.
Oh, you're talking about the game I did that.
Yeah,
on
probably.
Bully Bear.
Yeah.
Because I was useless. So I'm like, you know what?
But then you were useful and you won the game.
Let me just give a Solari cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all 5 members get the boost.
Yes.
Sensor boost. Pretty nice. It's a little bit awkward here, but Dom is able to get out of range, actually, at the end of this one. Still is pretty annoying at all points in the game, basically, to farm against this duo of Ashe Karma, so that's not really going to change. As the first 2 dragons, total map control down on the bottom side was given to the side of KT. And so they get the first 2 dragons, and now Ocean Soul is going to be on the map, and we'll see when Team Dynamics, who, again, they're the ones that are on the timer. They don't necessarily feel as good about their scaling, even though they do have some. So they're going to have to make some moves here eventually.
Well, at this stage of the game, I mean, KT, they're winning out through souls. Ocean is going to be more than a good enough victory.
Ooh, yet another flash.
Oh,
what was that?
Kidding?
Bono, come on.
Totally fine.
He doesn't have his flash still, so it doesn't matter. First blood going to be given over to Bono.
Let me now. I am the color commentator. I'll break it down.
Yeah, break it down for us.
Basically, what he did there is he utilized the EQ to rupture the eardrums of Rich. Yeah, with a sonic boom due to the force that was exerted there by Jarvan's flag and drag. Yeah.
Okay.
I totally understand why.
Thanks,
Yeah, not a big deal.
League Supreme as getting in there with a flash pillar. You don't see that too often, but it should bring down Sohan and deny the turret from going down here as well. Bono in an awkward spot. Rich with the home guard coming on in. As down he will go. Double kill given now to Kuzan in the mid lane, who with that Muramana eventually is going to be quite nicely fed. And a really nice turnaround from Team Dynamics, something you don't see too often in the top lane.
Yeah, and it's a very, very big victory for them in that regard. I mean, it does come at the cost of a couple of turret plates, but they're also getting turret plates elsewhere. And you can see Guger comes in here. That looks like a really cool skin.
Yeah.
That when that engulfed Azir there.
I like how you know the name engulfed. Is that actually the official term for when Senna hits
What?
the ability?
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. That's what you said.
What do you mean? No, freeze!
So on?
We're in LCK.
He forgot who was casting.
Yeah.
That's what it must be.
He could have froze there.
Yeah, he could. Well,
All right, now here, pay attention to the ruptured eardrum. You see it, right?
Boom.
You saw it.
I did.
You did. Yeah.
Rich, he had no chance.
Absolutely. It's like a Shane McMahon theme song. All right. Honestly, just leave me to my own device.
I'm just leaving you out to dry all day long. So, yeah, they stayed way too long. They got the first 2 plates. Generally, the turret takes a little bit more damage before they do go for that play, but they wanted to make it happen before the plates went down. But they did not expect that quick turnaround from Team Dynamics, as Senna has been elsewhere on the map quite a lot. And so that bottom lane, Dukdam, he's been getting some solo XP, but he has fallen quite far behind and also lost his turret.
Yep. And I mean, the natural tendency of the lane, Yasuo should be behind in CS. I was about to say CC, I don't know why. But he does have the Phantom Dancer. They're going to basically have one last hurrah at the 3rd dragon, and that fight will dictate the pace of the game from there forward. Set with the Black Cleaver, I mean, several minutes have passed. He would have been able to get Trinity Force by now, but it was imperative for the laning phase that he have the armor reduction.
Yeah,
On the champion that doesn't build armor. So that when he goes for the Haymaker and deals true damage, it's irrelevant.
Makes sense.
It does.
I suppose he could help Ashe in the later game, as he does attack very fast into you know, some of the
one
champions.
target?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you know, it's he's like support set.
Right?
It
always just breaks my brain. I'm not going to harp on about it this game, but it really does. All right, well.
Guzani's got the package, and he's feeling it now. Throws out the big one. Shows him who's boss, as they do have a nice amount of poke here in the mid-game. You know, the Karma Shields at this point in the game with only a Thieves it's not going to be as much damage reduction as the amount of poke that Team Dynamics do have. And so with the package and the amount of poke that they already threw out, they're just going to move on over here. And KT will say, we can't really fight against that. Maybe we can go for Shirley or something else.
What they want to do is they just wait for the Nashor's Tooth on the Azir, wait for the second item on the Ashe. The item spikes right now really favor Dynamics, and so at that team fight, it would sway the game. If KT would win it, that would be lights out. If Dynamic would win it, it would allow them to restabilize in the game. So KT playing it much safer.
And at the end of the day, it's probably not worth it. I mean, you do have to wait another 5 minutes to potentially pick up Ocean Soul, but it is just the one Ocean Drake going the way of Team Dynamics, and they're very far away from that Soul, so you're not giving up all too much outside of your own delayed Soul. They're going to move in here, take out mid turret. They already took down top turret, and so all the outer turrets down now for Team Dynamics, as KT has raised them.
Well, Bono just going to go back to farming. He could freeze right now, but...
You know, Set attacks really fast, and I think his auto attacks are really satisfying. I know you've played some Set in your day. Literally Set.
Not... Freezing will not happen in Korea.
Yeah.
There's no mediums to reach the pro players here. So...
Yeah, we didn't have any freezing yesterday, did we?
It's happening a lot in the EU National League. Yeah. And now it's happening in LEC.
I meant LCK yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, we won't get it enough.
Yeah, well.
So, Set, he's got a hot date, so that's why he pushed out the wave. so that he could not extend forward because he would be overextended. So now Jace gets minions for free and zones himself out.
He's also, he's zoning himself out, so he's losing XP and gold right now.
He's losing XP and gold because he had a hot date to push that wave in. Now Jace...
Don't worry, he got the Raptors.
Likewise has a hot date. Had to shove that one in.
Yeah. You see the question mark pings coming down? That's not, it's not just to show that, you know, where Jace might be.
Now this is, interestingly enough, you can see Kuzan, he's waiting for the wave. And he'll just eat it, but you see the Azir was being escorted because that's inevitably what has to happen. You can't overextend, and there's not a whole lot to talk about right now. They're going to summon the Rift Herald. It's 2.5 minutes to an ocean, so both parties have consent here. So the objective of both of these teams should be to create an environment where the consent leads to an inevitable death or an unfavorable situation, and you do that by using the neutral things like minions, which the opponents can't really control or anything like that. If you constantly just keep playing ping pong, we're just going to end up in a little state.
Big fight over the big Krug here.
It's like trying to farm a mob in an MMO.
I feel like I'm play-by-play casting Stardew Valley right now. That's what it feels like. Well, maybe we should summon the Valdanalist so we could just talk about the small intricacies.
We could swap.
Of the different swap. Yeah. That would just leave you with nothing to say though, because
I can become long sentences.
Ooh, I haven't heard that one before. Long sentences.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, I mean there is a Baron. If this were the LPL, maybe 5 players would just run at it.
Well, the Baron taking potential out of Dynamics is actually really scary.
Yeah.
So even though it is very early on in the game, it has to be respected. And if we look at this next Ocean fight, I don't believe that Yasuo will have his Infinity Edge. So the item, now these are these break points and like timings where it keeps going on a roller coaster, where now KT are going to be heavily favored for this Ocean Dragon. If you just look across the board at all the itemization on the champions, and then you factor in the base levels of some of the champions and what that ends up meaning. And so if KT could actually find a way to lose this, it would be impressive. But realistically, what it looks like is that we're going to go to a 27-minute soul point game. And that's going to be really scary. So Dynamics, rather than have one song and a dance at the 3rd Drake of the game, they'll get it at the 5th, is how it seems to look, unless Kuzan can deliver a lot of bullets and soften up KT.
He's not doing a great job just yet, though.
KT, Sohan's trying to go into the opponents when he should make it so that they come into him. Jarvan and Set should both be on the defensive right now. Okay, well, that pillar.
This is really strange positioning.
Yeah, both parties are...
Okay, they're going to land an arrow here onto the Jace, but there is 0 follow-up. The damage dealers are so far away. Rich is just getting on in there. He gets pretty low, though, as now Bono's all by himself. Where is the rest of KT? Ooh! As the fail flash comes in, but Flag and Drag is going to fall well. As you can see that UCal and Aiming are both full health, but they had no real way to hop into that fight. Rich just able to TP back into the play. But here comes Sohan once again. As the Dragon taking a lot of damage here. UCal in the front. It's just going to be burst down just like that as the Azir goes down. Duckdom in the back line now is slowing them all down. Picks up 2 for himself with the follow-up knockup. That is 4 members now of KT that get demolished on top of the Ocean Drake. And now the Baron.
And now it's just going to look like Dynamics with that Ocean Dragon capture and essentially an ace are going to move over to the Baron. And that was such bizarre decision-making by KT. Rather than kite back and protect Azir and Ashe, they elected to jump forward into the Trundle Corki Jace, Senna, and Yasuo, and that's going to make a defensive win wall have so much value, but also Azir and Ashe won't be able to get into the fight because the people peeling for them aren't there. They can't walk forward.
Yeah.
Corki and Yasuo will just light them up.
I mean, you see in this replay, the engage is by KT after the arrow. And the two front members that you were talking about.
Ash and watch Azir, they get separated by the Corki package, and Sohan and Bono, they don't have anything to do. Look at Ash and Azir this entire fight. They're thinking, well, how the hell do we approach? And so this is a pretty cut and dry example of a team composition that has a mode that it should be playing into, and they're electing to do something that they want to do based on feelings.
Oh, here we go again as two faces smack together. Team Dynamics with the Baron. Way too overconfident. They're going to feed 2 kills to UCal. As that certainly did not have to happen, but a nice mistake is taken advantage of here by KT.
Well, definitely a very scary situation right now, though, for KT. The Baron and all the gold swing in Dynamics' favor have definitely put them in a very good position. Winwall not able to be there beyond, trying to flash away there, ends up wasting it for no reason. Double kill going over to Azir is also scary, so...
Oh boy, look at this. Corki is just
Whoa!
so massive as the follow flash doesn't quite land it. But Kuzan, he feels strongly about what he said in the opening Trash Talk interview, that he is better than both of these other mid laners, and he's trying to make a case for it now.
Well, this is a rough situation to be in if you are a KT fan. They started the game off so strong. They were doing so well in mid and bot lane, and even top lane. They got the first 2 dragons, the 2 best in the game, to get early. And now they're just really plummeting, and you can see Ash, I believe, is going for Death's Dance, 3rd item. Seems to be like everyone wants to dance with Death.
Oh, hit him. Do they have the follow-up? Here's UCal, gets 2 for 1, but UCal is going to be burst down at the same time, and here comes Set, and Duckdom is nowhere to be found. The question is, can it catch up to them? Doesn't look like it, as the initial engage with the Ash Arrow is quite nice. They also get the shutdown onto the Corki, so not half bad.
Yeah. And now Sohan, I mean, he could freeze this wave. We got quite a while until another objective. And no, he's gonna shove it out immediately. Looks like he's going for Death's Dance 3rd here on Set as well. And look at that Ash Arrow. Just such insane value. Really nice Shurima shuffle. But UCal, without having a Zanya's Hourglass or his Flash available, ends up going down himself. You can see Duckdom over on the right-hand side, just trying to get the Wolves. So this game is still going on, and as always, the Azir is going to be getting the Morello.
Yeah.
Now there is a Senna in the game.
True.
There's other forms of healing. And maybe they feel like Azir is going to be able to apply it more than the Runon's Hurricane Ash with Executioners or the volleys. But they might be thinking that like it's now or never, and so Morello will provide a lot of situational control.
Yeah, maybe just wants to get the biggest bang for his buck right now, as this Ocean Drake fights are becoming increasingly important. And once again, the package is saved by Kuzan for this fight. He's absolutely been on point today, as I love these new damage meters that Riot has brought in.
Let's see if they can manage to do this fight right. Oh!
Sohan, they don't know. They don't know he's here. They're going to find him in the backline. 3 members slowed up, but the package is in a great spot. Kuzan, though, is going to be able to dodge the Emperor's Divine. As where are the damage dealers? Duckdom's still alive with the healing from the Senna, and even the Jace is getting so much work done, as everybody has just been burst down. Look at that Jace damage by the end of that. He's on fire, even more so than the Set that did insane amounts. And they say, actually, we're not going to go for it just yet. We're going to send Jace mid to try to push, as it is only Karma, and the Trundle can get the Ocean Drake by himself.
And that was really close to being an ace on Dynamics, but UCal not landing the Shurima shuffle. Really unfortunate. We'll see it in the replay beyond. Gonna manage to bring down this Ocean Dragon, and Dynamics, they bring the game to Soul Point. So we'll take a look at this one more time, and just take a look at the follow-up. I mean, the superplex, the angle was a little bit weird, but you can see UCal, he whips, and then right here.
It though.
Yeah.
With the Valkyrie.
Unfortunate. Duckdom manages to live with just a sliver of HP, and then Senna brings him right back up to a pretty healthy amount, not before being brought down there by So-On. And Karma, the only one that lives to tell the tale.
Yeah, and she couldn't really do anything against the push or the dragon, and couldn't keep that Ashe alive. This is 2 fights in a row now where it's been broken up by a really nice package and kind of broken team fighting from KT. They can't really seem to force a front-to-back team fight in this one. As, I mean, the Ashe was behind everyone because that was the only place where she really could be. And so Aiming and UCal aren't really getting a great chance to shell out their damage here in these team fights, as now 3 Ocean Drakes in a row have gone the way of Team Dynamics. Certainly looking like the better team, at least in this first game.
And right now, this is going to be the do-or-die team fight, most likely. There are 2 major item completions for KT this time around. Death Stance on Ashe, and, well, UCal will have access to the Morello debuff this fight for what that is worth. I believe Death Stance is on So-On, but maybe not. Just a lot of farming going on right now. 3 minutes until Soul Point comes up, and if you're Dynamics, you feel really content to just let the game go to that point and have nothing else unfold. But KT, they might try to just go for the burst. Unfortunately, they do this a little bit slower than if Azir had Leandri's. And so they are going to be a little bit reserved, especially given that Set is mostly just tanky. He has the Dead Man's with the Black Cleaver.
Yeah, support tanky Set. He's got resistances and he's taken years away. So that's going to be the name of the game for him, as things have died down here. There's not a lot of split pushing going on anymore, as it doesn't seem like Rich, even though he has a 2-level lead and he is a Jace, it looks like now he's finally going to go up to that top side and at least push that one in and attempt to get some pressure down there. As I feel like even Kuzan at some point could attempt it with his own TP, but not going to go for that yet. UCal, the only one of the 4 that doesn't have his TP available. That one is going to sail wide. Had it hit, maybe they were able to get something down, especially because Rich does not have flash right now.
Oh, man.
Lotto got hit, and now he's forced to go in. He's only got one direction, and even with the Stone Plate, and taking an immense amount of damage, and Subjugate was onto him as well.
And you can tell KT, they don't know what they want to do right there. Cataclysm goes down. It's going to be quite a long cooldown for it to eventually come back up, but Enchanted Crystal Arrow also almost up. Another Fiendish Codex picked up by Azir, so it looks like UCal finally going to try to get the Zonya's Hourglass. And so no Leandri is actually going to be built this game.
Leandri salesman not too happy.
Honestly,
with that
my sales in Korea suck.
The sales are going way down. Oh, man.
It's like the Stonks image.
Yeah.
The arrow
the opposite way.
Here. Yeah.
You just flip his smile upside down.
It's very well received elsewhere.
Yeah. Korean teams not taking to it too much. Now, let's hope that KT don't say, we'll take the Baron, you take the Ocean Drake.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be the DRX.
I don't like when teams do that, but they are just going to go for the Baron before the Ocean Drake is available and force Team Dynamics into them as the knockup comes in, as Duckdom is going to bite in and go for it, but So-On will bite the dust first as Duckdom stays alive with his own stopwatch. Good item, by the way. as now aiming is frontlining here, just going to try to do as much damage as possible. Now Bono in the front line, a good Cataclysm, but he's not tanky enough this time around. As another shutdown here by the Senna, as okay, Azir is doing some insane damage, but can he do it alone? As aiming now, trying to go 1v3, as Cougar not able to help here too much, just trying to get that damage down, as Tucson just gonna flash over the wall with his tail between his legs. Team Dynamics in an extended fight will take the Baron.
And that was really, really unfortunate for KT. You could see that that was the first time that they almost had something go right for them, but not quite able to in the end. Now, one of the perplexing things is they're going to get Baron before going for the Soul. And so we see this team fight. Set sacrifices himself. Yucal goes over the wall and ends up having to flash back in to his team. So Jarvan holding, oh no, he didn't actually have Cataclysm until just now, but his teammates are zoned out, so they can't get back in. And honestly, KT just seem in this game so uncoordinated with their engages and attempts, but aiming, I mean, he really had really good footwork in this team fight, but it just wasn't enough. As we come back into live, do they have the Soul? They do. And that is probably all that she wrote, Valdez.
The nail in the coffin. The last goodbye, perhaps, as Yucal was doing the majority of that damage. You saw him set up, even after he got rooted by Senna, he had the 3 soldiers in position in the front line, and everybody on the side of Team Dynamics had to run through them to try to shut down those carries. So he dished out some insane damage, but it wasn't enough. I feel like the tanks so far of KT are not necessarily doing what they're supposed to do, not doing a great job of frontlining for their team, as you know, being set and going, you know, jumping into the backline 1v5 is generally not what you want to do unless the rest of the team is right next to you. And now with the Baron and Ocean Soul, Team Dynamics going to look to push to end.
And well, seems like at this point, Dynamics are just going to play it super safe and careful. And it should just be a slow and steady execution onto KT. I can't imagine a world where they lose the game with Baron and Ocean Soul.
Yeah, I don't really see it here, Les.
Well.
Okay, well. They're going to try to engage, actually, KT, but then immediately realize that that's probably not what you want to do unless it's right next to your turret. And Beyond's typically not the best target when it comes to this later game spot on the tank Trundle. Pushes are coming in. You can see that Yucal desperately trying to clear here, trying to even push forward and do damage to the carries, but that damage is all going to get healed up by Ocean Soul. So if you're talking about which damage is more effective and sticks, definitely Team Dynamics is that damage.
Well, it looks like aiming, I mean, he's going to try to clear out the wave, but you can see that KT is missing so much HP. Baron will dissipate, and they will hang on for a little bit. Now, the only way that KT get a Hail Mary back into this game is if they can find a way to somehow get Elder. Elder is the one hope that the losing team can have. And I really like that Riot, I don't think I've ever talked about this on the broadcast before. I like that Riot put that almost insurance policy in for teams against the Soul.
Yeah.
And it creates a very interesting dynamic with, you get the Soul, it offers game-ending power almost by itself, but if you fail it, there is a lifeline that exists for the losing team. Even though you should be favored to get that said lifeline, I think it's a very cool dynamic that we haven't had in previous seasons, whereas you could just lock your opponents out of Elder Dragons
Yeah.
By playing right.
Pretty much. As the knockup comes in, Sohan says, I'll do my set thing. He does a nice amount of damage, but unfortunately it doesn't quite match up
Doesn't
to
do
Team
any
Dynamics. Yeah. Immediately they're all at full health. Welcome to Ocean Soul, guys. And I like that Team Dynamics stuck around and noticed, like, hey, I mean, we're just going to out-sustain. Might as well just stick around, take trades, force them to attack us, and we're always going to win those trades because of the Ocean Soul. So now looking for the engage, but a flash will take away the power of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Nice little Cataclysm there. That's one tanky Jarvan, but does it matter? That's a bunch of soldiers in the back line, but it doesn't quite take anyone out as Kuzan now trying to get in there, but he steps on the soldiers himself. In goes Rick, but do they have the damage this time? As now Yukal's trying to take him out, but Kuzan will survive and pick up the kill. But the rest of KT is going to essentially come ahead in this one. As we're getting later on in the game here, dead timers are going to come up before the Elder Drake, though. So that is the most important thing here. The Baron, an interesting objective. Can KT force it down before the Elder comes up? That's also another thing to look at.
This is a very scary... Now, this is the first team fight they sort of did correctly, where Set and Jarvan are with the carries. They locked them up. Pay attention to Azir. I mean, Corki and the Sand Soldiers just tanking it for eternity.
Yeah.
Shurima Shuffle goes in. If that hits Kuzan, it's an ace. With 4 members of KT still living. But they won the team fight against Ocean. And the other thing that's going on here is that all the summoners basically on both sides are exhausted. That should, in theory, favor Ashe Azir to be able to stand their ground. No one can really get onto them. And Jarvan, I mean, he's fine with the flag and drag. Set, if he manages to play the fight correctly, should be pretty happy as well.
Yeah. Stopwatch, death stance, and he's set. And he's very tanky, so.
Would you say that he's set up for 6? Honestly.
Wow, you set that one up really well.
Yeah, hold this L.
Yeah. KT say we're going to try to burst down Elder.
If they burst it, they could maybe win the game.
They have a crazy amount of damage in their comp
They're
right
flipping.
now. Beyond is going to get in there, though. You can't deny him, but taken out now by the Seppo. Where's the damage? It's non-existent as Yukal is going to go down. And Corki is still alive in the back line. And that coin flip is going to land on a huge tails for KT as the TP will come in now. And Team Dynamics are going to win game 1.
Well, Dynamics told KT to take this L. As that was a very interesting turn of events, where you could just see that the Elder was not going down super quickly, but then they made a decision where it seemed like everyone was indecisive with what they were going to do. Dynamics end up taking game number 1 after a bit of a scary ending, almost. They did drop that one fight with